Hey ATM family, this month is super special. You want to know why? Because it's Valentine's month. And yep, you guessed it, us girls stretch it out to a whole month. Happy belated Valentine's Day and happy Valentine's month to all of my fans here in the United States and abroad. Now, Valentine's Day means different things to different people. And to me, it's all about love. It's about our friends and our friendships. It's about loving ourselves for who we are too. And speaking of friends, this week I interviewed a fellow Kids Listen podcaster, Leela Prickitt. We talk about what it's like to be content creators and kids podcasters in a space that's quickly taking off. It's a pretty interesting conversation, if I have to say so myself, and I do. And get ready for the big reveal. Our video cast, soon to be streaming on YouTube and other platforms in the not-too-distant future. We have new skits, segments, and surprising additions to the show. Keep listening, or in this case, watching, and stay tuned.
Welcome to All Things Madison, the podcast exclusively for kids, sure to tickle your funny bone while learning something new at the same time. You'll hear from talking bears, laughing unicorns, and farting sloths. Here's your host, Madison Lauren. Please enjoy the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm your host, Madison Lauren, and welcome to my show. Each week, we introduce you to exciting people with cool jobs, go behind the scenes of new places, or we review books, movies, and topics that kids care about. Oh yeah, and the show is produced by my dad, the goofball you might hear from time to time, and supported in part by Kids Listen. And if you'd like to support us, you can simply go to patreon.com/allthingsmadison. We'll be updating the page soon. Oh, and be sure to click the subscribe button, like now. Now on to the show.
We'll return in just a moment.
Newsy Pooloozi. We've outgrown the jacuzzi
We needed a pool.
because we're a news pool for curious kids.
And adults.
Join us as we dive deep into the big news story of the week.
Which might be politics.
Or more likely, some super-duper science story.
Either about happenings here on Earth,
Or up in space.
also the latest tech news,
Sports news.
arts, culture, and entertainment.
Darling. And we always like to end with an oddball.
A story to make you smile.
Newsy Pooloozi, the News Pool Pod.
New episodes every Wednesday.
And now back to the show.
Alrighty, as mentioned, this week I decided to interview a good friend of mine from across the pond, as the English say. Her name is Leela. She's 9 years old like me, and she has a podcast she does with her mom called Newsy Pooloozi. If you listen carefully to the title, you might be able to guess what her podcast is about. Newsy Pooloozi? Did you guess it? Well, if you said news, you're right. But it's not just any old news. She and her mom work hard to curate stories from around the world that kids will find interesting. They even have kid correspondents who bring the news from their part of the globe. And I've been on her show several times. As a result, Leela and I get together every so often and we have our little chats. I've come to enjoy having a friend in the industry that is so big and so different. Here's a little peek into the things we talk about. Enjoy! Hi Leela, thank you for coming onto my show.
Well, thank you for having me.
I think it's so interesting to have other friends and peers who are doing what I do with podcasting. What do you think?
I think that it's really cool that other people are also, like other kids are also podcasters, because there are lots of podcasts for kids, but not many kid podcasters.
I totally agree. So I'm going to keep the interview casual and conversational. Does that sound okay by you?
Yep.
Let's start with, I started my show working with my dad. He's goofy, silly, but also really serious when it comes to our recording time. My first question is, what is it like to do a show with your mom?
With my mom, she's also goofy and funny. But sometimes I'm too goofy and funny. And if we're up against a deadline, she can get serious. Like, exactly.
I think it's so cool how you guys do news from around the globe. How did you come up with your concept?
Well, since that both of my parents are journalists, if I wanted to have a say, I need to know what was in the news. And it was in the middle of a hot summer in Delhi, and we were stuck in our apartment, and, well, we wanted something fun to do, and my mom and I wanted something fun to do. So, we said, well, why don't we make a podcast? And I love podcasts. I was like, I'm a total podcast nerd. So I was like, awesome. So yeah, I kind of jumped on the bed and my mom didn't want me to. Anyway, so that's how we started the podcast. And since my parents are both journalists, as I said before, they know the news. So we said, what a perfect subject, the news.
Wow, that's amazing. And all the news that you've covered, what are a couple of your favorite stories?
I like the headbutt story, like when they painted like a face on cows' butts, so that the lions wouldn't come and eat their cows. Because lions are ambush hunters, so if the animals sees them, they walk away from their prey. I also like the taste pop story. That was like in our first or second episode. I don't know. And I also like the cloned ferret. I thought that was really cute. I also the glacier mice, which is also in our first or second episode. And there's so many more.
Wow, those sound like some cool episodes.
Oh, and the everyday aspect.
So I know what I like about podcasting. What is your favorite thing about podcasting?
I like knowing that I'm part of the podcasting community because I love podcasts. And I also like, with my topic, I also like spreading the news to everybody in the world, all the kids in the world. And I also like having the kid contributors because I like that we don't have two of us, that it's a world news podcast and we have children from all over the world.
Sounds great. Yeah, what I like about podcasting is I like how everybody has their different things. Some are stories, some are interview podcasts like ours, and others are news podcasts like yours. Next question. So I understand that both of your parents are in the news business. What's that like having not one, but two parents who are reporters? It has to be interesting.
Yep, it's interesting. Sometimes it can be kind of annoying because sometimes you want to talk about a different subject than just news, but then you realize that if you have two parents who are journalists, there's not really anything else that you can do about that. It's also really kind of fun because sometimes the news is also really informative and fun, and you learn different things.
Yeah. It sounds like you get catched up on all this latest stuff. So from your parents, is that how you come up with your really cool stories?
Well, not really. My dad suggests a lot too, but my mom also does a lot of research, and I also do some research online. If I'm just online and I'm like, oh, okay, let me just do some research, and I just start. My dad also has some really good ideas, and he emails them to my mom, and my mom just searches them and researches them, and then that's how we do it.
So it's all about the research, isn't it?
Yep.
So, okay, I got a funny one. I remember your mom telling me that you have to record under your bed. Why is that?
Because, well, we don't really have the sound quality otherwise in our house, because if we go in my mom's office, it's not that great because the computer's right there and the computer machine. Like, it gives white noise. And, like, India's a noisy place, and we live in a quiet colony, but still you hear the, like, not occasional beep. You, like, hear it a lot. So like, under my parents' bed, it's, like, really high. We do it under there because I also like to make it my own little place. I put, like, mats down, like, little, like, boxes and stuff.
That's really cool to record a podcast under the bed.
Sometimes my mom says it can get backwards, but I'm young, so I don't feel it.
When we last talked, you told me that one of your favorite book series is The Babysitter's Club. And you're right, it's a great book. Have you seen the series on Netflix?
Well, actually, in India, we have, like, different Netflix shows. So, like, there are a few shows that are in America you don't get in India. But now that I'm in America, I can definitely actually find it. And I've heard about it. And in India, I've tried to search it and everything, but it's not there. So now in America, I can watch it.
Wow. It's a really good series.
Awesome. I can't wait to watch it.
Now, for a bit more serious subject, COVID. The last time we talked, you explained how crowded your city is and how densely populated it is. How has it been in India with COVID during the pandemic?
Confusing because, like, 1 minute there's, like, a rise of COVID cases, and then the other minute there are no COVID cases, and then, like, the other minute there are. So, like, when one variant comes in, then it goes out, and then there's kind of like an ocean. Like, there's a wave, and then there's nothing, and then there's another wave. So when one variant comes in, and then it goes out, and then another one hits India, and then you're like, okay, I don't care, but I want to know, but I don't care, but I don't know. Also in India, as you said, it's a really populated place. So there are more people there. So not that many people are going out. So it's been more extreme, as in, like, more, I'm sorry. It's been more extreme. Like, there have been, like, you have to wear a mask everywhere. You barely ever see anyone without a mask. In America, like, you kind of get in that, like, you don't really wear a mask all the places. So, like, if you go to India, you're like, oh my gosh, this is weird. So it's like really populated, and it's confusing too.
Wow, it sounds scattered over there.
Mm-hmm.
So for my audience, can you tell me the name of your city and a little bit more about your city?
Okay, so I live in New Delhi. That's in New Delhi, India, and it's the capital of India, and it's really crowded. It's, like, really, really crowded, but in a few places you can find it's quiet. But unlike in America, when you don't really hear a beep, like, of a car, in India, you'll, like, hear it, like, every 5 seconds. Like, you can actually count 1, 2, 3, and maybe even, like, the middle of 5 seconds. There's a lot of beeping there, and it's a lot crowded. And it also has, and it's also really sad because there are lots of homeless people who, like, are at traffic lights, and they come at your window, and, like, sometimes they're selling stuff, sometimes they want money, sometimes they're selling books. It's sad, but if you don't live there and you come there, then you'll, like, actually find it really sad. Because, like, my mom said the first time she actually came to India, she was, like, really surprised and really sad and, like, really touched about how many people were actually there on the street side.
Wow, that sounds so sad.
Mm-hmm.
We'll return in just a moment.
Ooh-wee. You are sharp, girl.
Oh, Daddy.
Seriously, you are fly.
I don't think they say that anymore.
Crunk?
Nope.
Jiggy.
Definitely not. You should stop. You're showing your age.
Then what do kids say these days?
How about just cute?
Cute. Got it. Super cute.
Yeah, this is a pretty fresh outfit. Where did you get it?
Macari.
What's that? A new store?
Kinda. It's actually an online market where you can buy some of the coolest stuff. They have everything, from clothes to shoes to accessories and more.
Oh, it's just for kids?
No, that's just it. It's for the whole family. And if you need to clean out your closet or garage, you can post your stuff to sell as well.
Ah, it's sort of like Amazon, right?
It's more like a super cool consignment shop where you can get great deals and sell your stuff to make real money.
That's cool. How can my audience check it out?
Great question, Madison. The ATM family can just click the link in the show notes to get $30 off their first order and $10 cash when they post their first item for sale.
That's dope. Super dope.
See? I knew it.
Knew what?
I knew there was a word you kids are using to describe something cool, like the hot girl summer.
No, don't do that, Daddy. That's not the look. To get your look on for the fall and beyond, visit Macari. It's in the show notes today.
And now back to the show.
The last time we talked, you told me that the smog was really bad. Is it always like that there?
Normally only in winter, and actually, it's not been there for like ever. It's been there for like there's always been like a tiny bit of pollution, but in India, when my dad was growing up there, like the winters used to be like wonderful. Like you could see the sky; it was crisp and chilly but beautiful. But now in India, you barely even want to go out in the winter because so many people are burning stuff. It's like there was like a fire and all the smoke was there. You can't see. It's horrible to breathe. Like if you're on a street, you can't even see. Like it's not like a serious fog. Like you can see like 20 steps in front of you, but like you can't really see that well. Like if you're on a road and like down the road, like really down the road, maybe there's like the House of Parliament. You can't really see that. You're driving down this road that straight, like, in the House of Parliament, like, is right there, and you're here. And, like, you can barely see it. It's so small.
Wow. I cannot imagine that.
Yeah. It's pretty alien-like.
Sounds like it. In India, they have a really big community of filmmaking called Bollywood. Who are some of your favorite Bollywood stars?
Actually, I don't really watch Bollywood. It's not really like it's more in Hindi, and I suppose I'm half Indian, so I should be watching that. But it's not like there aren't that many like kids stuff there. And like normally the songs in India, they're not like they're kind of just they're like to a different kind of taste.
Wow. So what do you watch?
I watch stuff on Netflix and I listen to music by Taylor Swift. She's my favorite.
I like Taylor Swift too.
In India, like I don't really have anything else than Disney Plus or Hotstar. I'm pretty set actually with Netflix.
Cool. So how has it been being in America compared to being back in India?
So I've come here a lot, like since I was a baby, every summer, every Christmas, mainly like that, except for the lockdown. So it's like really weird how like India has been like growing differently and America is like over the years the comparison between both have like sort of changed. So when I was little, it's like the pollution wasn't that much of a problem. It was mainly the hecticness. Like America was like also more advanced. Like there was drive-throughs. You won't really find a drive-through in India. So in India, you'd probably not find as many places like and like drive-throughs and car washes and like that much of like an advanced system like that. Like you'd probably have like your car washer come and wash your car for you with you know, like you wouldn't have like these drive-through places. You wouldn't have these stations where you wash your car. And then when I got older, it started to be more of the pollution problem in America. Like where I am right now, we live we're kind of in the countryside of Texas, but even in North Carolina, you could like light a fire in a fire pit, and like it would let off smoke, but like it doesn't make it really foggy. And I just find that like really cool because like in India, if you do that, you're basically adding to the pollution problem, and you barely ever do that then.
Wow. There must be a lot of pollution if you can't even light a fire.
Yeah, you just feel guilty afterwards if you light a fire because then you're like, you feel that you're adding to a pollution problem. And there's so many people doing it that's causing the pollution. Well, one of the reasons.
Well, that makes sense. So what's it like spending your time with your family in Texas?
Well, I have a pretty big family. My mom has 3 sisters, and each of them have a child. So I have a really big family. I have lots of cousins. The cousin that I'm pretty like most close to is Macy. She's my little cousin. She's here away somewhere. That she's actually anyway. So I have 2 older cousins who are sisters. One other older cousin who is the only boy cousin who I have. And then I have my little cousin. And I have all of my 3 aunts and all of my uncles and my grandparents, obviously. And it's pretty big here. And normally we have it in North Carolina at my grandparents' house, but now we're having it in Texas because my aunt is so small.
Wow, it does sound like your family is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
That means a lot of Christmas gifts, right?
Yes.
Do you guys have a special tradition for Christmas that you do?
Well, we at Christmas Eve, my grandfather reads the night before Christmas to all of the grandchildren. And then we go to sleep, and then in the morning the children can wake up as early as they want. And we can open our stockings before anybody else wakes up, but I like to keep it with everybody like there. So this Christmas I woke up at 5:50 something, and then I was in my grandparents' room with my little cousin, and I woke up, and then I decided to move into the living room where everything was set out. All the presents were under the Christmas tree near the fireplace. The stockings were, and I was so excited, but I didn't want to open everything yet, so I took one of the dogs with me, and I just laid out a pillow bed, took a blanket, and I just pet the dog until the sun came out, and then I was oh good, I can wake up my parents.
Okay, and for my last question, what would you say to other kids who are listening who want to get into podcasting like us?
I would say that you should. It's really rewarding and it's really fun. Also, that you should check out our how to make a podcast video guide on DIYA.org, which is an app, and there are so many other things of how to do, like how to make slime, how to do this stuff, and it's a whole series, and that'll be easier on how to do it. But I think that you should totally do it because it's really fun, and you can just choose anything that you want to do.
That's some great advice.
And you can also remember that you have this really cool thing, like a podcast. Even if you end it, you still have this thing it's a baby. You still have it, and you've made this, and you've created this wonderful thing. Also, I don't think that you should talking about ending. I don't think that you should end that early because your listeners probably will want to listen more if they really get glued onto your podcast, and then you end. So don't end it like a few months after you started it. That you need dedication.
I totally agree, Leela. I've got 30 podcasts. but you guys are way over me. Do you know how many episodes you have now?
70.
Wow. That's a lot of episodes. And that's a lot of hard work, too.
Yes, you also have an awesome podcast, and you put a lot of hard work into it, and I really enjoy it.
Thank you. I enjoy your podcast, too. Okay, it's time to plug this show. Leela, tell my audience the name of your podcast and where we can find your show.
So the name of my podcast is Newsy Pooloozi, Pooloozi, and you can find it at our website, newsypooloozi.com, or you can find it in any podcast platform.
Okay. Leela, I enjoyed our conversation. Thanks for coming on to my show. Safe travels getting back home. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for inviting me onto your show.
Thanks for tuning into the show. I never want to take you for granted, so just know it means a lot. Now, people are asking, where can they find my stuff? If you're looking for the coolest tees, hoodies, accessories, and more, you can just go to shopmadisonlauren.com and you will find everything there. Now, do me a favor and take a moment to hit the subscribe button under this episode or video. That way, you'll be notified when each new episode comes out. And if you enjoyed the show, kindly leave us a 5-star rating and a short review if you have time. This lets other moms and dads know they too should download it for their munchkins. Okay, on that note, I'm out.
Thank you for listening to All Things Madison. Kindly take a moment to subscribe, leave a comment, and rate the show so that our participating partners know you are following along. You can get your Madison Lauren graphic tees at shopmadisonlauren.com or follow her YouTube channel at All Things Madison. This production was brought to you by Infinity Global Media Group LLC. Contact us at smith.durante@gmail.com for bookings or more information.